Hello students, today we are going to start chapter number 11, Dual Nature of Radiation and Matter. Now about introduction. Now students, we already know that the Maxwell's equations of electromagnetic waves and Hertz experiment established the concept that light is having a wave nature. After that, a scientist named Wilhelm Röntgen accidentally discovered X-rays. Actually, he was doing some other experiment related to electromagnetic waves, but accidentally he discovered that there are some invisible radiations which can pass through the less denser objects or the substances. So, Röntgen accidentally or unknowingly discovered X-ray. Cathode rays were discovered by William Crookes, and he suggested that these rays consisted of stream of fast moving negatively charged particles. The name cathode ray is due to that radiations they were emitted from the cathode, and they are nothing but the flow of the electrons from cathode to anode. J.J. Thomson found the ratio of charge to mass of an electron, that is E by m, where E is a charge of an electron and m is the mass of the electron. So J.J. Thomson obtained the value of E by m. J.J. Thomson named this negatively charged particle as electrons. So the name electron was given by J.J. Thomson to that negatively charged particles. Millikan has estimated the charge of an electron by performing oil drop experiment. Now students, charge of an electron was obtained mathematically, which was 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. But practically, the value of charge was found out by Millikan using this oil drop experiment. Also, with the help of this experiment, it was established that the electric charge is quantized. You have studied in first chapter about quantization of charge, that the total charge on any substance is always an integer multiple of E. So quantization of charge was also established with the help of Millikan's experiment. Now topic number 11.2, electron emission. Now students, electron can be emitted from the surface of a metal. We know that metals have free electrons which normally cannot come out of the surface of the metal. Definitely that electrons, they are free to move in the surface of a metal. Suppose if this is a metal surface, then these electrons can move within this metal. They are free to move inside the metal, but they are not free to come out from the surface of the metal. That means they cannot escape the surface of the metal. This is because a potential barrier exists at the surface. There is a barrier at the surface. So these electrons are unable to cross that barrier. Now, if we want to bring that electron out of the surface of the metal, then some energy is required. So if we give that much energy to that electron, then they can come out of the surface of the metal. So the minimum energy required by an electron to escape from the metal surface is called the work function of the metal, denoted by phi naught. So it is the minimum energy required by the electron so that they can come out of the surface of metal. For different metals, the value of work function is different. From some metal, the electron can come easily, but for other metals, the electrons cannot come easily from the surface of the metal, or they cannot leave easily the surface. So work function is a property of material or a metal. Unit of work function is electron volt, or in SI system it is joule, because this work function is an energy, minimum energy required by an electron. Now we can define this 1 electron volt as 1 electron volt is the energy gained by an electron when it has been accelerated by a potential difference of 1 volt. Means, suppose between these 2 points A and B, if there is a potential difference of 1 volt, then if an electron moves from one point to other point having potential difference of 1 volt, if an electron moves from one point to other point, then it will gain an energy which is equal to 1 electron volt. Now, as I said, the work function phi naught depends on the properties of the metal and also the nature of the surface. Means, if the surface is shining or polished, then the electrons can come out easily. And if for the same metal, if the surface is not polished, then for that the work function can be different. Now, to bring an electron out of the metal, energy is required. That energy can be supplied by the following 3 methods. So here 3 methods are given by which we can take out that electron from the surface of the metal. First is thermoionic emission. The word thermo means heat. So if we supply heat to the metal, means by heating we know that the temperature of the metal increases, and so the electrons within the metal, free electrons within the metal, they gain the energy, and so they can be emitted from the metal. So here I have written that in this method current is passed through a filament. You know that in a bulb also there are filament like this. So when the current is passed through this filament gets heated at a high temperature. So when the current is passed through a filament, it gets heated sufficiently. Normally 2500 to 3000 Kelvin temperature is gained by that filament. Hence, free electrons in it gain enough energy and get emitted from the metal. So such kind of electron emission is observed in devices like diode, triode, TV tube, the earlier TV tubes. Now we have LED and LCD TVs, but before that we have the TVs which consist of tube. Actually, it is a cathode ray tube. So, electrons were emitted by this method of thermoionic emission. Even we know that nowadays we are using LED bulbs and all. So, what is LED? It is light emitting diode. It is a diode. So, in a diode also, there is a heating phenomena due to which the electrons they are emitted from the surface. Now about second method, field emission. Students, we know that an electron in an electric field gets accelerated because in an electric field a force acts on an electron. We know that F is equal to Q into E. So what is Q here? Here Q is nothing but is electron. So charge of an electron is E into electric field is E. So E into capital E is nothing but force. So this much force acts on an electron. And due to that force, what happens? The electrons can come out of the surface of the metal. So when the electric field is applied, a strong electric field, it should not be a weak electric field. So if the electric field of the order of 10 raised to 8 volt per meter is applied to the metal, then there is a chance of electrons to be emitted from the surface of the metal. So this method is known as field emission. Example is spark plug. We have seen that there are sparks in a plug or a lighter. So that spark is due to the jumping of electron from one point to other point due to strong electric field. Now third method which we are going to study in detail in this chapter, which is photoelectric emission. Students, when a light of suitable frequency illuminates a metal surface, electrons are emitted from the surface of the metal. Means suppose this is the surface of a metal, and if light, that is electromagnetic waves, fall on the surface of the metal, then if this light has a appropriate frequency or suitable frequency, then this electron within the metal, they gain the energy from these radiations falling on it, and these electrons can come out, because we know that even radiations has an energy. So energy of the radiation is absorbed by the electrons which are on the surface of the metal, and so they can come out. So this light generated, light means photo. So this light or photo generated electrons are called photoelectrons, and this phenomena is known as photoelectric effect. Now students, topic number 11.3, photoelectric effect. Now we are going to study this photoelectric effect in detail. Now the scientist Hertz observed in his experiment that in the phenomena of photoelectric emission, he observed or discovered that electromagnetic waves are generated during the spark. When there is a spark, between the two terminals or 2 points having high potential difference, the spark is generated. And when the spark, they oscillate from suppose A to B and then again from B to A. In that way, if the process continues, then due to oscillation of these charges, what happens? Electromagnetic waves are generated that we have studied. But he found that the spark, they jumped more easily when the cathode was illuminated by ultraviolet light. Earlier, the spark jumped due to high voltage. They were not easily jumped from the cathode. A high voltage has to be developed. But what happens when the ultraviolet light was falling on the cathode? In that case, that spark jumped easily. So, this observation suggested that light facilitated the escape of charges from the metallic cathode across the spark gap. After that, Holwich and Leonard, they did some experiment and they observed several things. Holwich and Leonard investigated the phenomena of photoelectric emission in detail during 1886 to 1902. Leonard observed that when ultraviolet radiations fall on the emitter plate, that is cathode, electrons are ejected from it, which are attracted towards the positive plate. Positive plate means it is a collector plate, that is anode. Holwich observed that when the neutral zinc plate, neutral means uncharged plate, so when the neutral zinc plate was illuminated by UV radiations or UV light, it became positively charged. So students, earlier the zinc plate was uncharged, that is neutral, but when the ultraviolet radiations fall on it, it becomes positively charged. That means something having negatively charged, they must be ejected from the plate, and so the plate becomes positively charged. Hence he concluded that the negatively charged particles were emitted from the zinc plate, and so it becomes positively charged. Holwich and Leonard also observed that no electrons were emitted at all when the frequency of the incident light was smaller than a certain minimum value, and they called this frequency as a threshold frequency. Means if we want to take out the electrons from the surface of this metal plate, then we need to irradiate it by some proper or appropriate frequency. If the frequency is less than that minimum frequency, then the electrons cannot come out. So some minimum frequency is required for that. Less than that is not applicable. So a particular frequency should be there so that these electrons can come out for that metal surface. So that minimum frequency is called the threshold frequency, denoted by nu naught. So if for any metal surface this is the required frequency, then the frequency less than nu naught cannot emit the electrons from the metal surface. After the discovery of electrons, These electrons which are emitted by photosensitive substances were termed as photoelectrons. So the scientists, they found out that something which is negatively charged, they are coming out of the metal, but at that time the name to these negatively charged particles were not given. But afterwards it was found that these particles, they were electrons, and so they named these particles which are coming out due to radiations falling on the metal surface as a photoelectrons, because photons, they were absorbed by the electrons, and then these electrons are coming out of the surface. And this effect of emission of photoelectrons is termed as photoelectric effect. Now about the experimental study of photoelectric effect. Now students, here in figure you can see there is a glass bulb or a tube of glass, and there is a window, so that light can pass through this window and it can fall on this photosensitive surface denoted by C. So this is a cathode, and here there is a plate which is collector plate known as anode. Now here a potential difference is created due to this battery, with the help of this battery, and there is a milliammeter connected in series. Also there is a voltmeter, so that we can measure the potential difference between the two terminals of these plates. There is a rheostat to vary the potential difference. With the help of rheostat we can change the potential. Also we can change the polarity of this plate. Now here this tube is a evacuated glass tube, means the gas particles, they were ejected from this tube. Now what happens when the light falls? This light having appropriate frequency, if it falls on this photosensitive surface, then the electrons, they are emitted from this surface and they are collected by this collector plate, and so there will be a current in the circuit. So if the electrons were emitted or not, that can be detected with the help of this micrometer. If there is a current in a micrometer, then we can say that the electrons were emitted, and if the micrometer shows zero current, then that means the electrons are not emitted. So with the help of this micrometer we can calculate the amount of electrons which are emitted by this emitter plate. So now students, in figure, UV radiations fall on the plate C, that is cathode. Electrons are emitted and are collected by plate A. The potential difference between the plates can be varied with the help of rheostat, as I said earlier. And also polarity of the plate can be reversed with the help of commutator. Here this is commutator. With the help of this commutator we can change the polarity of these plates. That means we can make this plate positive also, or we can make it negative also with the help of this commutator. Light of different frequencies can be obtained by using appropriate colored filter or colored glass in the path of light falling on emitter. That is, here suppose the source is emitting white light. So this white light is falling on this emitter plate, and we know that white light consists of generally seven colors. Actually it has many more colors. Thousands of different shades of colors are there. But suppose if we consider seven main colors, that is Vibgyor. So by putting the glass plate here, we can filter the colors. Means if I want to find out whether this emitter emits the electron by falling red color light on it, then I can put here a red color glass plate. So what will happen, this red color glass plate will filter other colors and only red color light will fall on this emitter. If I put a blue color plate here, then what will happen, only blue color light will incident on this emitter plate. So with the help of different colored plates we can get different lights at point C, that is on this plate C. And we know that different color lights has different frequencies. So we can study about the emission of photoelectrons with respect to different frequency. Amount, that is number of electrons emitted, can be determined by measuring the current using milliammeter. Now students, experimental arrangement can be used to study photoelectric effect and related facts, that is conclusion from the experiment. Whenever we do some experiment we get some conclusions. So here also the conclusions were obtained, which are shown here. Effect of intensity of light on photocurrent. Photocurrent means whatever the current is measured here, that is called photocurrent. And intensity of light means here light which is falling on this photosensitive surface, we can change the intensity of light also. Intensity means brightness, from dim light to bright light. So less bright light has a less intensity and more bright light has a more intensity. So here there is a graph of intensity versus photocurrent. So it was found that if the intensity of the light is 0, there is no photocurrent, means no emission of electron. So this graph starts from 0. Now if the intensity is increased for particular frequency of light or particular color of light, suppose the electrons they are emitting with that frequency. So for that frequency, if the intensity is 0, then the current is 0. But if the intensity of light is increased, then it was found that the photocurrent also increases linearly. Photocurrent increases means number of electrons emitted, they also increase with the intensity. So I have written here the number of photoelectrons emitted per second is directly proportional to the intensity of incident radiation. Now, effect of potential on photoelectric current. Students, to understand this, we need to first understand about the stopping potential. Now, what is stopping potential? So, look at this experimental arrangement. Suppose the radiation of appropriate frequency is falling on the surface of this photosensitive metal. Electrons are emitted, and that is shown by the emitter. Emitter shows that the electrons are emitted from this emitter plate. Now, suppose here there is some positive potential, and the electrons which are emitted from this emitter plate, they are attracted to this positive plate and they move in the circuit, and so there is a current in the emitter. Now suppose if I reduce this positive potential on the plate A, then what will happen? The number of electrons which are emitted, they are reduced. That means the number of electrons which are reaching at point A, they get reduced, and that can be noted from the current, because current will reduce if the positive potential at plate A is reduced. Now suppose if the positive potential at this plate is reduced and if it is made 0, now the potential of plate A is 0. In that case also there are some electrons, they can reach this plate, and so we get the current. Now suppose the potential of this plate is made negative. So now what will happen? The electrons which are moving towards this plate A, they get repelled from the plate A. But still there are some energetic electrons which can reach this plate even though there is a negative potential. In spite of negative potential of plate A, some electrons they reach at this plate A and they move in a circuit. So still there is a current in a circuit. But if this negative potential is increased gradually, then at one particular negative potential, for one particular negative potential, electron just stopped coming to this plate A. So that potential is known as stopping potential. So once again, for a particular negative potential of this collector plate A, the electrons they stopped reaching this plate A, and that negative potential is known as stopping potential denoted by V naught. And if the electrons now they are not reaching at this plate A, then there will not be any current in the emitter. That means this emitter will show 0 current. So now let us see what is this stopping potential. We can define this stopping potential. The minimum negative potential denoted by V naught given to the plate A, for which the photocurrent stops or becomes 0, is called the cutoff or stopping potential. So students, with the help of this stopping potential, we can get the maximum kinetic energy of an electron. So in terms of stopping potential, maximum kinetic energy K maximum is equal to EV naught. where E is a charge of an electron and V naught is a stopping potential. Or we can write this as half of m V maximum square. We know that the formula for the kinetic energy is half of mv square. So here m is the mass of an electron and v is the speed of an electron, maximum speed of an electron. Now for the retardation of a given frequency and material of the plate C, the value of stopping potential is independent of intensity of the incident radiation. Retardation means when the electron they are moving with high velocity from plate C towards plate A, then their speed decreases and so there is a retardation. So motion of the electron is retarding motion. Now students, here this graph is for the potential versus photocurrent. So for one particular intensity of light, if this positive potential is decreased, keeping this intensity constant, if the potential is decreased, what happens? The photocurrent does not change. This photocurrent remains constant. When the positive potential is made 0, in that case also the photocurrent is nearly constant. Now if the potential of the collector plate is made negative from 0 to negative, then this photocurrent decreases and at particular negative potential photocurrent becomes 0. So that negative potential for which the photocurrent becomes 0 is nothing but is stopping potential. Here frequency of the radiation is kept constant. Now keeping the frequency same, if the intensity is increased and once again if the potential is reduced from positive to 0, then once again the current is constant, photocurrent is constant, but as the intensity is increased, the value of that constant photocurrent also increased. Earlier the intensity was less, so this photocurrent is also less. Now intensity is increased. Keeping the frequency same means color of light remains same, but intensity is increased. So in that case you will get this type of effect. And now again if the potential is made negative from 0, that is 0 to negative, then once again what happens? The photocurrent decreases and it becomes 0 at the same potential. So for different intensities, the value of maximum photocurrent, this is the value of maximum photocurrents for different intensities. So maximum value of the photocurrent is different, that is directly proportional to the intensity, but for one particular frequency the stopping potential does not change, that remains same for a given frequency. Students, here this horizontal line represents that the current gets saturated at this particular value. If the intensity is increased, then that saturation current value also increases. Now here different frequencies are used. Earlier frequency was constant, but now for different frequencies, you can see here V3 nu 3 is greater than nu2 is greater than nu1. So these are the frequencies, and this all frequencies are greater than threshold frequency, because we know that for photoelectric emission the frequency of incident light should be greater than the threshold frequency. So this is the minimum condition for the photoelectric emission. So you can see if less frequency is there, then the stopping potential is also less. If the frequency is increased, then stopping potential also increased. Still, if the frequency is increased, then once again the stopping potential also increases. So this shows that stopping potential depends on the frequency of the incident light. But saturation value of the current, this is the saturation current, that is maximum value of the current, that does not depend on the frequency. The value of this saturation current depends on the intensity of light. So I have written here, the value of V naught is more negative for radiation of high frequency. The value of saturation current depends on the intensity of incident radiation, but it is independent of the frequency. Now, graph of stopping potential versus frequency for a given photosensitive material. In graph, you can see, first suppose one metal plate is taken, metal plate A. For that, this is the line of frequency and this is the line of stopping potential. So earlier, if the frequency is 0 and if the frequency of light is increased, you can see no photo emission is there, because still the frequency is less than the threshold frequency. Now, if the frequency of the incident light is reached to the threshold frequency, then the photo emission starts, and if the frequency is increased, then the stopping potential also increases linearly. So this is for metal plate A. Now if we take some another metal plate, then we know that for that metal plate the stopping potential may be different, and so for that plate the frequency needed for the emission of photoelectrons is more, that is this threshold frequency is more for this metal plate B. So if we increase the frequency from 0, still there is no photo emission, Now at this frequency the photo emission starts, and then with the increase in the frequency the stopping potential increases linearly. So this graph shows that stopping potential varies linearly with the frequency nu of incident radiation for a given material. There exists a certain minimum cutoff frequency. This is the value of cutoff frequency for metal plate A. This is the cutoff frequency for metal plate B, for which the stopping potential is 0. So at this particular frequencies the stopping potential is 0. This is for plate A and this is for plate B. Now students, from these experimental observations we can summarize following points. First important point is, the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons depend on the frequency of incident light and does not depend on the intensity. Second point is, the number of photoelectrons depends directly on the intensity of incident light. Third point, photoelectric effect is always observed whenever incident light has a frequency either equal to or greater than the threshold frequency for the given surface irrespective of intensity. Irrespective of intensity means it does not depend on intensity, it depends on the frequency. And the last point, the phenomena of photoelectric effect is spontaneous. That is, within 10 raised to minus 9 seconds this effect is observed. That means if the phenomena of photoelectric effect has to be taken place, then it will take place immediately on the falling of the light, or it will not show any photoelectric effect. If it has to show the photoelectric effect, then it will show spontaneously at the same time, or it will not show any photoelectric effect for a given frequency of light.